We have an interesting, we have a beginning. Welcome everybody. Aaron Gobran, Ireland forever. I was raised in the New York scene of celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and believe me, it was a drunken affair. And so I would wish you the same. Enjoy the bar. The lady is there ready to serve you. We have with us this evening one of those moments, one of those people that makes the clock stand still. Sometimes he might show himself as a leprechaun. Sometimes he has a good time just being himself. And I want you to know that I have a friend in this person. It was a long time ago that I started the little luncheonette on 2nd Avenue. And in the time that it grew from a luncheonette Monday through Friday to the Blues and Jazz Club, that it ended up being 15 years later in the 3rd location, we kept getting put out. But Thursday night, if you were there, you would hear the words of the poets. And the leader of the band was the man that I am about to introduce. My friends, one and all, that have come here with the wearing of the green to celebrate Patty, I want to introduce to you now Mr. David Duffy Young. Come to the stage, David. Those of you with napkins at your disposal or a hanky in your pocket, be ready.
Well, that was nice, Charlie, to introduce me, but now I've got to introduce Charlie Fenton. Years ago, like back in another century, Charlie put the word out on the street that anybody who come into his club with an Irish song on St. Patty's Day would get free corned beef and cabbage.
Yes.
And the fact is, I was hungry. And I couldn't do Danny Boy. You don't want to hear me sing that. I couldn't do Whiskey in the Jar. So I decided to write something for it. And I did write something for it. And it got me free corned beef and cabbage for the rest of my life.
All right.
I come to sing you an Irish song you've never heard before. And if you're lucky, your chances are you'll never hear it no more. Wait a minute. Oh, you'll never hear no more. I picked it up in Dublin town from a leprechaun I met. Whilst I was chasing butterflies, he fell into my net. Oh, I let him go though straight away, for he was a friendly sport. He said, "My name is Leslie O'Connery. They call me Les for short."
Yeah.
Well, I could scarce believe my eyes. He wasn't 1 foot big. As he tipped his hat and twirled his cane and danced an Irish jig, and he says to me, What be your name? Don't give me no blarney. Well, I puffed my chest and told him proud, my name is Duffy. Well, he turned a flip and gave a hoot and says, you don't look the Irish sort. I said, just the same, it's still my name. They call me Duff for short. Well, he lit his pipe and took a puff and blew a smoke ring in the breeze and says to me, my good friend Duff, I owe you one good wish. You could have kept me in your net, never set me free. And I feel as if in your debt, so what you fancy be? I'm an Irishman, of my good word, of this you can report. My name is Leslie O'Connery, they call me Les for short. Well, a wish, I says. A wish. I've got one. Perhaps you'll find absurd. But after all, if you'll recall, you did give me your word. Aye, yes, he says, and stared in disbelief as I asked him to present a plate of cabbage and corned beef. What? What kind of wish is that to wish, he says, and give a funny snort. Now I know the reason why they call you Duff for short. And he says, oh, come now, man. It ain't every day that a real, live, magic leprechaun should come along your way. Well, I can grant you anything you fathom in your head. Don't you want for something else besides just being fed? Don't you want some finer thing? Something that you could never afford? My name is Leslie O'Connery. They call me Les for short. Well, it says, perhaps there is one more thing you could do for me. Could you teach me how to sing an Irish melody? Aha! He says, I knew I wasn't wrong. If you was a true Irishman, you'd know an Irish song. Even though you did to me, I'll still strike up a chord. For my name is Leslie O'Connery. They call me Les for short. And so he sang his song for me with sincerity and wit, and it boggles my mind. It makes me laugh to this day to think of it. But I forget the words, and the melody is gone. But after all, if you recall, I learned it from the leprechaun. And his name was Leslie anyway, they called him Les for short. So anyway, I was having a drink the other night in a local Irish pub, when suddenly a voice behind me he says, wait a minute, Bob. I believe you got me stool. And before you turn around, I'll tell you now, just so you'll know, I'm the toughest guy in town.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking of keeping that seat, don't be a silly fool. Swallow your pride and give me back me stool. Well, I felt a chill go down my spine. I clenched me shaking fist. I thought to myself, who could this be talking to me like this? I know good and well I've been sitting here at least 2 hours running. It's gotta be some kind of joke, just somebody funning. I ain't thinks I'll take a chance. Who is he to set the rules? Sure enough, I'll call his bluff and not move off me stool. Well, once again, the boy's behind. Says, what's it gonna be? You gonna sit there like a stone or give that stool to me? I tell you now, I won't stand here and take this silent snub. I'm only gonna count to 3. And then you better look out, bub. I've been known to take what's mine in a way that's mighty cruel. So if you're smart, you'll take it to heart and give me back me stool. Well, another nervous moment passed. The stranger whispers, 1. Well, I took a drink and begun to think, perhaps this isn't fun. Maybe he does intend to do what he says he'll do. Then once again, the voice behind very seriously says, 2. Well, thinking to myself as fast as I can, why be a stubborn mule? After all, is it worth a brawl? I'll give him back his stool. But the stool is mine, damn it all. It's either fight or flee. I got to think of something quick before he gets to 3. The whole pub was silent, hanging on me every move. And if I called myself a man, that's what I had to prove. So I decided to give him back his stool, right on top his head. And I turned around to lay him low, but what I found instead was sitting up there on the chandelier, slapping his leprechaun knee. Leslie, you remember him. And he looks me straight in the eye and says, Duffy, 3. Okay, now, well, oh wait, I might need that. Maybe not. This is Irish stuff. Well, I was down on my Irish luck one day, and I didn't know what to do. So I decided to go see Charlie Fenton down on 2nd Avenue. Well, Charlie gave me a cup of coffee and set me down at the table and says, there you go, Duffy, I'll help you if I'm able. I shuffled me feet and squirmed in my seat and hid me face in me coat. I couldn't bring myself to speak, but a big lump was caught in me throat. Charlie nudged me shoulder and says, oh, buck up, lad. Surely it's got...
It's the young folks, you know.
We're all with you here.
Okay.
We're with you.
I thought you were all just blankly staring. So,
It's a lump in your throat.
and that, let me see. Oh yeah. Hang on, I'll get it. Just give me a second. Charlie give me a cup of coffee and set me down at the table. Said, no, there you go. I'll help you if I'm able. I shuffled my feet and squirmed in my seat, hid me face in me coat. I couldn't bring myself to speak, for a big lump was caught in me throat. Charlie nudged me shoulder and says, oh, buck up, lad. Surely it's got to be for the best. It can't be all that bad. I says, for he set me mind to thinking, especially when he said, would you like some whiskey in that coffee you ain't drinking? Well, Charlie got out a bottle of his best Irish stuff, poured a big swig in me cup, says, there you go, me good friend Duff, go ahead and drink it up. Oh, I said, oh, thank you, Charlie. Won't you have one too? He says, oh no, there's work to be done. I said, okay, Charlie, I understand. And Charlie says, well, maybe you will have just one. So he poured himself a modest drink and says, here's to the pitiful lot. Then he gave me a sly little wink and poured us both another shot. Now that one went down mighty smooth. So we poured ourselves another. Then Charlie raised a hearty toast to his dear old Irish mother. And with our eye a little misty, we crooned an Irish line. And then, of course, we had to drink to that dear old mama mine. And then we drank to true friendship. And one to the old sod. And we couldn't let the morning slip without a toast to God. And then we drank one to the moon. And then we drank one to the sun. Then we drank another one to anyone, and another one to everyone. Then Charlie says, with great remorse, I'm afraid I have bad news. It's the top of the morning, and look at us. Me friend, we're out of booze. What? What, says I? What are we to do? I admit I'm feeling somewhat better, but I'm still a little blue. And Charlie says, oh, I agree. This is a terrible scare. I think I'm starting to sober up. Have you got any money to spare? No, I says. No, I don't. I told you so from the first. I ain't got a lousy dime, but I sure got a hell of an Irish thirst. Oh, it's okay, says Fenton. It's bound to be okay. If we put our heads together, our luck is bound to change. And then the thought occurred to me I hadn't hit upon. You can have whatever you wish if you catch a leprechaun. Oh, I don't know, says Fenton. Do you think it can be done? I've heard it's nearly impossible to even lay eyes on one. I says, they're quick as a wink, sly as a fox on the run. But I have experience in these things, at least one particular one. He and I are sort of friends, in a funny kind of way. And I think I know where he might be found about this time of day. There's an Irish pub, not far from here, the place where we last met. So come on, Fenton, grab your coat and don't forget that butterfly net. Well, sure enough, there he was, dancing on the bar, Leslie. And with all the patrons clapping hands, why, you'd think he was a star. Well, the place got suddenly quiet when me and Fenton walked in. And Leslie yells above the crowd, "Duffy, who is your friend?" "Oh, well, this is Fenton, a good old pal of mine. And we was in the neighborhood and just to pass the time because we had a powerful thirst for a pint of Irish beer. And lo and behold, and bless me soul, look who happens to be here." "Oh yeah," says Leslie. "It shouldn't surprise you though. Or did I forget to tell you? I own this place, you know. So why don't you and your pal step right over here and let your old friend Leslie buy you both a beer? No, better still, make it whiskey. Only the best, as a matter of fact, for you and your friend with the butterfly net in the sack behind his back." "Oh yeah," says Leslie. "Don't give me no alibis. You may have accidentally caught me once, Duffy, but you'll never do it twice. So don't come in here with your drunken ideas of using that butterfly net. I am not a butterfly. Remember that, me friend. You and your buddy Fenton, you need to take a leprechaun's advice. Belly up. It's on the house. You be glad I'm being nice. Well, the next thing I remember, I was waking up, safe and sound in the old bed, feeling a little rough. They're coming knocking on the door. It's Fenton saying, "How's it going, Duff?" "Oh," I says, I don't know, I guess I'll be all right. By the way, do you happen to know how I got home last night?" "No," he says, "I was wondering how I got home. It must have been that friend of yours, that crazy leprechaun." "Shh, shh," I says, "don't call him crazy. He may be listening in. Only think of pleasant thoughts when you mention him." Well, I fixed me and Fenton a cup of coffee. I put cream and sugar in mine. And I says, "Fenton, how do you want your coffee?" And he says, "Duffy, plain will be just fine." Okay, I have one more. I do have to sort of read this one. It's still fairly new, but this is called Young Fenton. As you can tell, Fenton is a big part of this show. Now, young Charlie Fenton, you'd have to agree, is just about as Irish can be. From the top of his noggin to the tip of his toes, and all points in between, including his nose. When I first met him, I was down on me luck. And he give me $5. When I first met him, I was down on me luck. He took pity on me and give me $5. Ha! Well, I bought us a beer. And then, magically, young Fenton started to bring out the Irish in me.
Yes.
Now that was way back when I wasn't so smart. When I fought with me head instead of me heart. I was looking for something. I didn't know what. Whatever it was, I completely forgot. Young Fenton declared, "You look everywhere, both near and far. Your problem is that you don't know who you are." And then he put his hand on my shoulder and quite seriously, young Fenton brought out the Irish in me. Then I started to feel something funny and strange. And I started to laugh. Then I started to change. I couldn't believe the words that I spoke. They come pouring out in a rhyme with a brogue. The accent had changed like a spoon to a fork. I sounded as if I come from old County Cork. I couldn't stop laughing, and neither could he. Young Fenton had brought out the Irish in me. Well, you may wonder, and well, you may ask, just how he achieved this wondrous task. This turning a thankless cur into cad, from a young Yank to a fine Irish lad. I admit I was puzzled, and am puzzled still yet, for he's explained many times, but still I always forget. But whoever I am, and forever will be, young Fenton brought out the Irish in me. Now I don't know how it happened, but the years flew on by, like the hummingbird's hum or the blink of an eye. Young Fenton grew older, and I did just the same. But the fire of true friendship burns on like a flame. No matter the lost youth, no matter the time, I've not lost me bro, I've not lost me rhyme. True, he gave me $5, but so much more. As you see, young Fenton brought out the Irish in me. Very much.